Hello, welcome back guys. Today we're going to talk about specifying colors in CSS. And to get started, I'd like to talk a bit about color attributes. We're going to use these two color attributes, color and background colors. As you can see, colors refer to the foreground color of any text in the element, while the background color refers to the background color of the element. For example, if you want our text to be white and the background to be green, we are going to use this code with P, the selector, color, we put it white, and the background green. So today we are going to see a different way to define colors in CSS. So far, we have used only the first way, using color names. In last session, we talked about using color name. We changed the background color and the foreground color of the paragraph. We changed the background into red and the foreground color into yellow, I think. But today we're going to see three other ways. There are many ways actually to define colors in CSS. And today we're going to use all these four ways and see how you can define it. You see, you can use color names, you can use hex value, RGB, and HSL values. And without delay, let's go to our website. Remember the last website that we created? We changed the background into red and the paragraph text into yellow. So today we are focusing on the background, how to change the background color in many different ways. And we talked about the H value, the hex value, the RGB, and the HSL. You see, these names red, these color names red can be represented or can be defined in many different ways in CSS. So instead of typing red, we can type this code, X value. We can type the RGB, which is R stands for red, green, blue. We can type this value, or we can type this HSL equivalent. Now you might wonder, where are we going to have all these things? You don't have to memorize them. There's a website. If we are going to use this website, w3schools.com. It says everything you need to know about color. So if you want to know more about hex value, RGB, and HSL, I will link this website in my post, and you are going to see. So here you are going to see everything you need to know about all these different ways to define colors in CSS. So as an example, you see yellow. Yellow is there. There are many ways to define yellow in CSS. In my code, actually, let's say if I want to change the background. If I want to change the background, let's go back to home page. So far we have changed it into red. We typed red, but there are many colors out there in the world that we don't know their names. And if you want to be more specific, we're not just going to use the color names. The color names is a bit limited. That's why hex value comes in hand, because there are many variations of a color. Like here in this website, you see that there are many variations of the colors. There are many of them out there. You see, when we speak of yellow, you see there are many types of yellow, and you can use the hex value, or the RB, or the HSL value to, let's say if I want my background to have this color, this dark yellow color. I might not know the name of this precise variation of yellow, but I will just pick either the RGB code, or let's start with the hex value. So we see that the hex value for this color is this one. I'm just going to copy, Control C. I'll go back to my code and I'm going to paste it here and see what will happen. So I just paste my code here, Control S to save it. We go back to the page and click on Home. There you go. You see the background has changed. I didn't type the name. I don't even know what's the name of this color. But with the hex value from this website, with the hex value, I got the right background color. So you see there are many ways to define colors. As we said, today we are going to use all the 4 ways. So far we have used the color names, the hex value, and let's try with the RGB value. And as here you can see that red is 255,00. This value represents red. If we go back to our website and I want, let's say, let me pick anything here in the color picker. If I want something like this kind of blue, you see here there are many types of blue. If I click on this, no, let me go down a bit. I want a darker blue, something like this. You see the RGB value pops out. If I just select, copy, go back to my code, and I paste it here. Mind you, make sure that RB is not in lowercase. Make it in capital. So I'm going to write RGB in capital, RGB in capital, save it, and go back to my page, try to refresh and see if I'm going to have that value. This is it. You see, this time around I didn't use the hex value, I didn't use the color name neither, but I used the RGB value. I used this RGB value that I got from this website, from the W3 school. So there are many colors out there, and if you want to use the color names, there is the right here on the left side. You can see here we have the color name, or you can use this other website, htmlcolorcode.com/color names. And this website also has many variations of colors. There are many colors out there in the world that you don't have to memorize them. You see, there are many of them here. Many color names. Okay, let's pick just a random color like this. Okay, let's pick this color, Cadet Blue. I've never heard of it, but let's just pick it. We're going to start with the color name. I'm going to copy the color name, Cadet Blue. I go back here. I'm just going to paste it here. Control V. Save it. Cadet Blue. Go back and I try to refresh my page. You see, the background has changed to Cadet Blue. And if I want to change Cadet Blue, but this time around I want to use the HSL code, because so far we haven't used the HSL code yet. This HSL code, and what I'm gonna do is okay, let's go here. I pick a random color. We have the HSL code here. I will just copy. The same thing applies with the hex value, RGB, and HSL too. I'm just going to copy, go back here, get rid of this and paste it here. And once again, make sure that HSL and RGB should be in capital letters. HSL. Make sure that it's in capital. Control S. If I go back to my website and I refresh it, you see that it has changed into another color. So, as an exercise, what we are going to do, I want you guys to make use of X value, RGB, and HSL in your 3 pages. Remember, this website has 3 pages. It has home, contacts, and about me. So we're going to use these 3 pages with different ways to define colors. Let's say in home, I'm going to use, let's say in home, I want to pick this color here. I don't even know its name, but I'm going to use the href. I'm just going to select href, Control C for this page. I'm going here, I'm going to paste it. Once again, you don't have to memorize those codes. They are out there on the internet. Control S, I saved it. If I go to content, in content, instead of using a color name, I can use any ways. But actually, with web developers, hex value and RGB are more common than using names and HSL. So people generally use hex value or RGB when they are changing the background value. So I want you just to use different ways to change your background colors. And lastly, I want to show you something interesting. One other ways to change colors. Here I am I'm using Chrome browser. If I right click, let's refresh this. If I right click, you see here it's inspect. The last names here in the pop-up menu. In inspect, mine is in French, it's inspected. If I right click and I click on inspect, you see that another window will pop out on my right. From here, this is another way to change the background, but mind you, it's not going to be permanent. It's going to be just temporary, but it's going to help us if we want to pick a color for our website's background. I click on body right here, and you see here they said it shows my code, all my code that I used for my CSS, background color, and there is the href value here. If I double click on it, I can even change. Let's say if I type red, you see the background changed. If I delete it and I type let's say blue, the background will change. There are many colors here that pops out, the suggestions. If I click on them, they will change. And another way to do it, if I click here on this square, you see, there's another window the menu that pops out. And let's say I click here. If I scroll either left or right, you see the background is changing. But mind you, this is not permanent, it's just temporary. The background is changing. We use this way just to look for the right background for our website if you want to use a color background. Let's say I want this color. I can even use this other scroll for the saturation if I want my background to be something like this. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this hex value, Control C, and I go back to my code on Notepad++, just paste it, copy here. I delete red, Control V, I paste the hex value. This is another way to find the hex value. Control S. If I now, here I am in Chrome. Let me go and check the same website in another browser and see if it's going to work. If I refresh it in Mozilla Firefox, you see that actually this website, you see the background should change. Let me save it, Control S. The background has changed. The same thing here. If let me close this. If I refresh it, the background has changed. So to recap, today we have seen how to different ways to change or to define colors with CSS. We can do it using color name. We can use hex value, RGB, or HSL, and all these values to have them. We are going to use this website, w3schools.com. We don't have to memorize all these things, or either this website, htmlcolorscodes.com/names, to look for the right name or the right hex value. And another way that I say it, we can do it by right-clicking on our browser and click on Inspect or Inspector in French, and the window will pop out here. If we click on the body, and here on this little square, if you click on it, you can change the background. This change is actually, it's not permanent, it's just temporary. I'm just using this to get the right value and go past it. It can apply to any website. Let me give you an example. Let's say, let's go to Google. Okay. You see Google's background. If I right click on Google, inspect, let's wait. And if we click on body, you see the background value, it's in RGB. This is the background. I can also change the background value of this website, but it wants to be permanent. If I say blue, you see this is it has changed Google's background into blue. I can change it, let's say, to this. I can change it to purple. Purple. You see, I can close, and Google's background has changed into purple. But this is just temporary for my own laptop. It doesn't mean that everywhere there Google has changed into purple. We use this just to test. We click on inspect, wait for this to happen. But if I refresh it, to go back to normal in body. And if you right click here, even here you can change the background of your website. Once again, this is just not permanent, just temporarily. We're using this to get the hex value of our website's background. So this is it for today. Now, what I'm asking you, I want you just to work with it. Try to change your background using different ways, using these 4 ways, using names, hex value, RGB, and HSL in your different web pages. So this is it for today. Thank you very much. Hope to see you next time. Bye.